actually making a video about this, aren't we? Back when we had the Pierre-Luc Dubois thing going on with the Columbus Blue Jackets, I was saying it kind of the entire time. You can't just take one guy who was a superstar like Pierre-Luc Dubois and say, okay, let's just hypothetically make a trade scenario with him and that other guy who is also a superstar and who might be in trade scenarios too. In that case, it was Patrik Laine. We had these discussions going about with Dubois and different offers and all that, and I said it wouldn't really be necessary to just straight up do, okay, what about Laine for Dubois? Because you're just taking the easy fruit there, the two guys who are both stars, who are both in trade rumors, and just putting them together. Well, that ended up actually happening, and I kind of look like a fool because I said, hey, why would we actually talk about that? That's low-hanging fruit. And so, when thinking about what I wanted to talk about in this video, referencing Aaron Portzlin's recent piece on The Athletic from 3 days ago, I was like, do I really want to do that low-hanging fruit kind of topic? But then I remembered, oh, we kind of had the same thing happen with Dubois. Screw it. Let's go ahead. So today we're talking about a recent piece on The Athletic. Take a look at this right here. Blue Jackets hold an emotional meeting with imminent decisions to make about Seth Jones, their next coach, and more. This is a piece written by Portzlin, published on May 11th. We will leave a link to that in the description because, of course, if you have The Athletic, you can go ahead and read that. However, because The Athletic is paid-for material, we're going over to NHLTradeTalk.com because their recent piece talking about the Athletic article highlights the quotes in a little bit of a different detail. So, the article here on Trade Talk is titled with a very specific thing that I think can in itself get a whole bunch of attention. The Blue Jackets are more open to trading Patrik Laine now than they were at the NHL trade deadline. Despite kind words from Patrik Laine about the Blue Jackets, the team is apparently more open to trading him now than they've ever been. And if you scroll down, you can see that the article opens up by talking about the Columbus Blue Jackets media availability, because that happened a few days ago, and if you actually missed out on that, then hey, quick little update, Patrik Laine had some very good things to say about the Columbus Blue Jackets, and it's been very apparent that he wants to come back, and we also had Jarmo Kekalainen just bring up how, yeah, it's a no-brainer, we want to bring Laine back. He is an RFA, he needs a contract, at the time of this recording, he still needs that extension, but everything from what the Blue Jackets have put out there, Laine himself and the GM, points to the direction of them actually getting that done. So, this entire topic that we have in this video is indeed a little bit of a contradiction to that, but as we read forward, we can see where exactly that comes out. As per a report by Aaron Portzlin of The Athletic, Jarmo Kekalainen is more open to trading Laine than he's ever been. There was some talk, although not very serious, that Laine might actually be moved at this past NHL trade deadline, as the Blue Jackets were selling off other assets. He arrived in a trade for Pierre-Luc Dubois mid-season, but struggled in his new environment. There was rumored friction with John Tortorella, but that belief was always that the Blue Jackets were hoping to put the pieces together that would help Laine succeed. But Aaron Portzlin says there are some people within the organization who would support him being a one-and-done, quote. Apparently, they saw enough of Laine to know that investing in him long-term at a high dollar value would not be wise. They cite bad body language or the lack of a center who can play the game at his pace and make it worth building around Laine. Finally, his energy, level, and passion are in serious doubt. Portzlin adds, Kekalainen is said to be more open to trading Laine now than he was at the trade deadline. In parentheses, does Laine, Korpisalo, and 2 late first-round picks get Jack Eichel? And that is where we're heading with this video. Yeah, it's the low-hanging fruit, it's the easy topic here. Patrik Laine in a package for Jack Eichel. Is that something you would actually be interested in seeing happen? Now, for me, if you know me, you know what I would love to see this, not because I'm a fan of the Blue Jackets or the Sabres or anything, but just because I love pandemonium in this league. I love seeing crazy trades and proposals and news coming out there that just blows my mind out of the water, because This league needs more excitement. I'm a Canucks fan. I've been watching these Canucks games. They suck. It's so boring out there. So any big pieces of news or conversations we can have, hey, I'd love to see that. But of course, me liking it, me wanting to see it happen, that's completely separate from the notion of whether or not it actually would happen. And quite frankly, if I was a betting man, if I had to make a bet with money on the line, I would probably say Eichel for Laine probably isn't something that actually gets done, especially considering the circumstances. But because it's the low-hanging fruit topic that was so obvious and so eventual with the Dubois situation, I figured, hey, why not at least talk about it here on the YouTube channel? So, firstly, what Portland writes about the offer. Does Laine, Korpisalo, and 2 first-round picks get it done for Jack Eichel? Firstly, that is indeed corresponding to the price that we had laid out by Renaud Lavoie. We've said this in a whole bunch of videos, but the Buffalo Sabres' apparent asking price for Eichel would consist of 4 first-round caliber assets, whether that's first-round picks themselves or 4 players playing like first-round picks or 4 first-round prospects as well. Joonas Korpisalo, while he isn't directly a first-round talent, I mean, he was taken in the 3rd round in the 2012 NHL entry draft, so he's not a first-round guy, but Joonas Korpisalo this season making $2.8 million as a pretty alright goaltender. I mean, he was pretty bad this year, .894 save percentage, a .330 goals against average, but again, he's playing for Columbus. What more could you have asked for out of this guy? He's been pretty solid in the other years, and especially last season, where he was good in the bubble, he was good in the regular season. This is a guy who probably could be worth a first-round pick if you had to twist my arm. Patrik Laine speaks for himself, 2nd overall talent. Sure, he's an RFA, but just the negotiating rights for this kind of guy could be seen as valuable to an NHL franchise. And you have 2 extra first-round picks, which are obviously, by definition, first-round caliber assets. So, right away, the Portland proposal here does align with the package that we have identified as the potential asking price. But whether or not this is something that actually gets done is a different question, because for the Columbus Blue Jackets, I would say this probably doesn't happen because they traded away Pierre-Luc Dubois to acquire this Patrik Laine. They wanted a guy who could come in here as a #1 sniper on the wing, but the problem was they didn't have a #1 center to play him with. Sure, they got Jack Roslovic, and he's been doing pretty alright, but if you trade away Patrik Laine for Jack Eichel of all players, sure, you get that #1 center, but you're kind of going backwards, right? You're taking a step forward that is preceding your 2 steps backwards that you took earlier when you even thought about trading Laine for a center. So ultimately, what you would have done if you do all the math with everything combined with the previous trade, you would have essentially traded Pierre-Luc Dubois, Joonas Korpisalo, and 2 first-round picks for Jack Roslovic, who is pretty good, and Jack Eichel. You get rid of the goaltender, you commit to Elvis long-term, you get rid of 2 first-round picks, and you swap out Dubois for Eichel. Is that something that you think balances out appropriately? I don't know, man. Just taking a look at where their values lie. The entire reason they're even going after a first-line center to play this guy with Patrik Laine. I am a little bit concerned now seeing this report from Portland saying that there are some within the organization that would actually be okay with giving up Patrik Laine now because they're not really too confident in his ability to potentially bounce back. That's really concerning to me, and if it is something that proves itself to be eventually true, then man, where exactly does Patrik Laine's career head down in this path? Because we know how good he can be. This guy could be a #1 goal scorer, a Maurice Richard candidate at his best, but on the Columbus squad, playing on the 4th line, no first-line center guy able to keep up with him. I mean, it's been rough so far, so if you're going to go out there and trade him away to Buffalo for Jack Eichel of all things, then okay, what's going to happen with Patrik Laine in Buffalo? I'm not really too sure how well a Reinhart-Laine line would work out, especially without the presence of a Jack Eichel. I mean, Sam Reinhart did do a whole bunch of damage this season without Jack Eichel, so maybe there's some sustainability there, but let me know in the comments what you think about this entire idea over here. Patrik Laine for Jack Eichel, as I said, it's low-hanging fruit. I know that. It's the easy topic to make, but the easy topic to make was one that we also did for Dubois, and I was like, yeah, this is easy, and it eventually did happen, so no foreshadowing here, unfortunately, or at least I hope not, but whatever it is, talk to me in the comments what you think about this idea here. Patrik Laine, Jack Eichel, a trade. The Columbus Blue Jackets may be trading Laine again. I hope you enjoyed this video. Trolls 99, and bye. Bye.